Welcome to the Salty Seekers, where you can hang out with friends and talk about all areas of spirituality and the metaphysical, while knowing you don't have to be pure love and light to do it. Hi, and welcome back to the Salty Seekers. My name's Veronica, and this is Jay. And today we are talking about numerology. If you have seen many episodes on my channel, then you know that Kayla has been on here a few times talking about numerology, but she's always a fan favorite. You guys love to hear about this topic. And so we brought her back because I'd love to just pick her brain and chat with her about it. But this is one of our first episodes back from the summer. Hi, Jay. How are you?
Hey, how have you been?
I'm good. I've had a long, lazy summer. How about you?
I mean, it feels like I haven't talked to you in minutes.
I know. I mean, we talk every single day, but we kind of talk at each other. Like, how are you? I just did the laundry. What are you doing? I'm in another meeting. I'm driving. I mean, we talk at each other. We communicate, but we haven't really connected and like hung out a whole lot. A couple times, but not much. So it's good to see your face.
I mean, good to see you too. We've both been busy, work. You've been having your pool parties. I've just been working. I think that's been my biggest occupier and good times.
Yeah, you're a busy guy. Anytime you have a young kid, you're going to be busy. So you have work and commute and kids activity, and that takes a lot of time. I have grandkids coming over, which has taken a lot of my time. It's a good problem to have, but every day they're like, I'm coming swimming. And then I made the mistake of going in with them one time and doing handstands with them and teaching them to swim. And so now every time it's like, come in with me. And I have to fight them off. And I had a new grandbaby born, little Noah. And so, yeah, 5 grandkids now. It's amazing.
Will the handstands be in a future vlog, perhaps?
Only if you're a guest on that vlog.
I don't do handstands. I'll film.
You don't want to come play mermaids with me? You could come play mermaids.
No, I'm not going to interrupt grandbaby time.
Oh, well, we could do handstands when they're not here.
Be cuter with the kids. We'll get more likes.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, the older they get, they go back and forth between, I don't know how comfortable I am having my kid on camera, which I get, versus they love being on camera. It's so much fun. You should film with them. And so I never know which way to go, and like when Noah was born, Emma's like, you aren't showing his picture to anybody out there, are you? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? She goes, they're just so young and vulnerable. I don't want them on camera. I'm like, okay, I'll respect that. But then I remember when she did that with Henry, and then like they came over for Thanksgiving, I think it was, and I was trying to shoot everything but Henry. She's like, you're not getting him in here. Like, I was trying not to get him on camera. She's like, why? Because you just told me not to. I never know. So it's shifting sand. The rules are always changing. I don't know what they want, but I just try to respect it. Whichever way the rivers flow in that day. It's 222. 222. As usual, if you guys have any topic suggestions, any feedback, any comments, or if you just want to say, hey, love your podcast, I'm here for it. You can call the phone number, you can text us, you can leave us a voicemail, you can send an email, send a smoke signal, send a paper airplane, like however you want to get it to us. Just get it to us. Kayla, welcome. If everybody's been watching my channel, they've seen a couple of episodes with you already. They already know who you are. But for those who don't, why don't you just give us a quick intro on who you are, what you do, and numerology, if you will.
Well, my name is Kayla, like you said. I am an Egyptian Astro Numerologist, and I work with the numbers. So I work with your soul contract. I work with just basic numerology, and I help other people build businesses, get it right in life, right? Because we all have these timelines that we're following and we don't even realize we're doing it, right? So to help you work through life and be in flow versus swimming upstream every day, because we all know when we have kids and we have families and we're running businesses or we're chasing grandkids or, wherever you're at in life, we want to make life a little bit easier. We want to make some money. We want to build our businesses, all of those things. So that's what I do. And I'm also a psychic medium. So I work with people that way as well.
It's amazing. A lady of many hats, many talents.
Yeah.
Right?
Had me at Egyptian. I got excited.
I know. When she said that, every time she says that, because I forget, I just think numerology, but I forget the rest of it, like your specialty. When she
Yeah.
said that, I was like, that's a big deal to Jay and I, because we've actually had at least one major lifetime together in Egypt. And I've had many dreams of this person.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm tied to when I was getting my master's for Reiki, my master teacher attunement, Isis came through and I didn't realize it was her at the time. But I was doing readings at one of our metaphysical shops around, and a girl, she came in and she wanted a reading, and she looked at me and she's like, "Do you work with Isis?" And I went, What are you talking about? And she's like, "Yeah, she's standing right over your left shoulder." And I went, "Oh my goodness." Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Very
yeah.
cool.
It was really neat.
Very, very cool. I wonder if we've shared a lifetime.
I wouldn't doubt it. Looking into all like the charts and stuff, we've been together before.
Well, it doesn't surprise me, because normally once I start talking to somebody, if I resonate so deeply, if I ask if they're my soul family or I've lived lives, it never surprises me when I'm told yes, because it just seems to flow and they always seem to find me,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And they do. It's so fun because I'll look like in the past lives in our charts, or I'll look in just like now. And every time you meet with somebody or you're going to, I see their contracts sitting there. And it's so cool to be like, oh, I'm connecting all of the dots now. Yeah, we're meant to be here. We've seen each
Right.
other before. It's amazing to be able to see.
Now,
Yeah.
for those who aren't familiar, I know we've already covered this in other episodes, so we won't go too deeply, but for those who aren't familiar, how can you use numerology? What is numerology? How can you use it to glean information about yourself, your life, your contracts, etc.?
Yeah. So if we're talking about just like your basic numerology, the stuff that everybody's familiar with, like our ruling number, that part of us, it's kind of like how your ego works, how your brain was formed to move through life, but also it does include, like what you're going to be going through, your seasons of life and stuff like that. And I find like if you're just starting, that's where you want to start. And it gives you a permission slip to be who you are. And
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing, and it really does validate you with all these inner things that you feel. We all have these inner things that we feel, and we don't talk about it, especially when we're just, like, on this kind of wake-up journey. We know our zodiac signs, right? But this part is just it's another added layer of stuff that is so deep because our birth dates carry these codes. And there's a whole with the numerology that I use, we call the tic-tac-toe, and we have all these different influences that are in there. It's like some numbers are empty, and so we get an influence like where you can get very frustrated, right? Or you're a speaker, or you're a writer, or you're very intuitive, all of this stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
I remember the one time we were talking and I had to get a message out to some of my viewers that was off topic from you and I was just like, I'm going to use this opportunity to get this message out real quick.
Right.
And it was a response to something someone had said. And I was getting like a little passionate and heated.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that is the way it is type of thing. And
Right.
you were like, oh my God, I'm watching your numbers in play as we speak. This is what you are, your numbers, because they say this and look how you're acting. And I'm like, well, then
Yeah.
I feel validated.
Right. I mean, it does kind of call you on your stuff too, right?
I
Like,
can get a little passionate and fiery and like, yeah. So,
yeah. Yeah, I've had that too where it's like like my ADHD, for instance. I struggled with this for a really long time, and I think it kind of allows you when you really start digging into yourself and realize, "Oh, this is how I'm programmed." It really does help you align with it, find some sort of acceptance within yourself, right? And now you're aware too, so you're not just like, "Oh, why am I like this?" And you just you beat yourself up and you keep going through that cycle. And so it really does give you like some sort of peace too. Yeah. And then you move into the other stuff, which is a whole nother thing.
right.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started talking to my guide Spomi, I'd be like, I'm so this, or I'm so that, or help me change that. And he's like, why would you want to change it? You're divinely created to be that way. And I'm like, but everybody tells me it's wrong, or I'm too much, or I'm this. He's like, you are divinely created to be that way.
Right.
They don't resonate with it, but your people will come.
And they do.
They do.
Like, when you finally figure out how to take that mask off, right, and step into yourself, a lot of us struggle with like relationships or friendships or just calling in the right people into our lives. It's because we're living somebody else's story or we're doing what we've been taught over and over again. And this really allows you to take that mask off and call in your people too. And that's powerful.
I've only had a few people that have shown up lately that like tolerate me. Jay's one of them. But I still am like, I'm too much. But when I was going through a breakup at one point, Fred had said something that like it plays on a loop in my head sometimes when I'm being critical. When I said, I'm going to find someone who meets my standards, who meets my expectations. And he goes, that doesn't exist. Your standards are too high, and there will never be anyone who will be able to meet those. And so then I'm just like, am I too much? No, there's no one who's going to be willing to do that. And so, but then I'm like, no, if I was created, there has to be a counterpart. There has to be someone who wants to be here, who thinks I'm awesome and doesn't think I'm too much. They think I'm just right.
Yeah.
Right. So anyways, I'm off my soapbox. Remind me what my life path number is. Is it 1 or 10 or?
You are a 10.
10. Yeah. Because I know like in normal numerology, it comes down to like a 1 and you're like, not in this one. We don't, if you're a 10, you stay a 10. Is that right?
If you're a 10, you stay a 10.
Okay. And do you happen to know Jay's?
Your birth date is very easy to remember, by the way. Jay, 3.
And what does that mean?
Here's some fun stuff. Every time I say this, everybody's like, oh Lord. But this is the number where everything starts. We cannot function without you. So this 3 is this super expansive energy. The way that I explain it is you create the situations, right? And just for you personally, we have to be aware that with the 3s, you create situations, good or bad. Because the 3s are so creative. That's what you're about. Some people have anxiety with this number, or it's like this pendulum swing of like emotions, right? I have anxiety, or I'm really, really happy. And really what it's about, because even though it's a mental number, you have these expansive emotions that are supposed to be put somewhere, something creative. A lot of these people are focused on like family life. They have so much love, but I also call it one of the mothering numbers too. So it giggles because sometimes it's like, I know better. Like you should be doing this in like all the great ways. But there can be this underlying factor of like, I'm really just trying to help people and they may misunderstand what I'm saying sometimes, which can be really frustrating. And you have the arrow frustration in your chart. And you have these different arrows in there too, and these different influences where speaking and talking is actually your strong point. It's really good. You have these extra creative things about you, which is amazing. So you can utilize that number to create whatever you put your mind to, wherever your mind is sitting, you're going to be able to create, which is a beautiful thing because it's buzzy energy. It is that type of energy. If you think of like the energy waves going from like just airy fairy down to dense, right? The physical, you are the energy that's like buzzing really, really fast in the start of it all. So you put into motion for the rest of us to grab onto and keep moving with it, which is so cool. Creativity, all of it starts with you. And it equates to the Empress in tarot. For anybody that does tarot, that is the archetype of the 3.
Nice.
Yeah, the nurturer, the creator. That's amazing.
You think, Jay, does any of that resonate with you?
It does. I've heard some of this said to me before, the whole pendulum swing of emotions, the maternal back and forth. Definitely the frustration, because a lot of times I do try to help people. I get really frustrated with them because it's either not perceived, it's not understood. It gets frustrating at times, and kick rocks, and I'm not gonna do this anymore. And I go pout for a while. Then I said, no, I'm gonna go back and do it again because that's just who I am. Yeah, no, it resonates.
Yeah. The threes are amazing people. My daughter's a 3, and my dad is actually a 3 too. So I have a lot of 3s that
Nice.
are around me. It's so cool. Yeah.
Hear that, Jay? You're amazing. It's
That's right.
confirmed.
I'm the Empress. I'm fancy.
That's right. Yeah.
Do a quick recap of what the 10 is, please.
Oh, so the 10 is this very spiritual, it's almost like a master number because you have the 0 that follows. And with the 0, this is like a heightened place from where the 1 is. And so the 10 is such a physical number, like your physical world is so important, but really what you're here for is to bring your power back. You're reclaiming that power. So they say that the 10s are some of the most easygoing people that you will ever meet. But they have underlying rage usually that happens. Jay
That
shaking his
tracks.
head.
That tracks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very stabby.
I'm really not, though. But I mean, I can be. I can't, kind of.
Yeah.
Only
I
when called for. I only come when called for. There are some things that just hit the target, and I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be something that like really pokes the bear to get them to like fire up. But once that happens, it's like move out of the way, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. And the 10 also has this energy of it's like a constant rebirth. Like you're always looking for what happiness actually means. What does this mean? And so there's a constant turnover of events or things in life, people, even relationships, because it's the fresh and the new. And it's a learning process to be able to call in that internal power that you want, right? To actually embody it. So there's a lot of things like in life that can happen where, especially as kids, this is a thing that I would bring up, where there's either like a parent or somebody else that is around you that's very dominant and has taught you to quiet and not claim your voice and, that energy. And so that's what kind of makes the 10s very easygoing as they go through life because unless provoked, they're quiet.
Mhm.
And so they're learning how to embody that inner power and just radiate it for other people. Yeah. And learn what that looks
So
like.
tracks. That so tracks. So for anybody watching, how do they easily find out their number?
Super simple. So it's just your birthday. You take your birthday and you add up every individual number. So, like I'll use mine. It's 11/7/1987. So it's 1 plus 1 plus 1, 7
Yeah.
plus 1 plus, yeah. And then you get your number at the end. And then if you are not a number, I'm going to say 2 through 22, then you reduce, right? So you have your all of those numbers. It skips from 11 to 22 though. Yeah. So you just add up those 2 end numbers that you get and see what you get. If you want to keep it really simple, you can reduce it down to 2 through 9, right?
Mhm.
Those are like your very basic numbers.
Except if you get a 10, don't reduce it. Yeah.
Yeah. I like to keep the 11s in there though, because I feel like the 11 is very important too. That is one of the master healers.
Yeah.
And, some people do 22, 33, stuff like that. I personally don't go past 22. That's kind of where I cut off just to keep things a lot simpler for the person to be able to.
So if someone gets a 12, they keep it a 12. They don't reduce it to a 3.
They do.
They do. Okay. That's what I thought.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. Very interesting. So
Mhm.
what are some of the coolest things that you've seen or found out or predicted or whatever using numerology?
So many different things.
I bet.
With the advanced part, I've actually been going through the world chart and predicted a lot of things this year in particular. Obviously, we have this like spiritual awakening that is going on everywhere. Everybody's talking about that. Not to be a conspiracy theorist, but the water issues that New York is having right now with Legionnaires, that came up in last week's chart when I was reading it. And I was like, oh, I wonder what this is going to be. And then all of a sudden we started seeing all this stuff. I was
Very
like,
cool. So what do you see for like the next year or year to 5 years of the United States? Have you checked into that?
I haven't gone too far ahead in it. I have been very much trying to focus on this year because I find that if you go too far in advance,
Timelines can change, I imagine. It can
yeah,
shift. Yeah.
it absolutely does because every single year we have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Have a
Every
choice
minute we have a choice.
Yeah.
Every
We-
minute different decisions can be made. People can change their minds on things. And I'm sure that alters timelines.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
Yeah. This year was such a big one for choice, and it's a very karmic year this year. Everybody's thinking about partnership and all this other stuff, right? And we're not quite there yet. It literally, our challenge is to take off the mask as humanity. And so boom, spiritual awakening. I feel like that's what's going on. So depending on where you are right now, next year, us as a collective, how are we going to handle that? So it shifts and it changes, and you kind of, I mean, I don't really watch the TV. I don't really pay attention to what other people are doing, to be honest. I once in a while I'll tune in or somebody will send me something and I'll listen
Right.
to it.
Same.
But
I've purposely tried to tune out a little bit. Mhm. I
yeah,
won't say I never see it because it comes on my timeline still sometimes. And people love to send it to me.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to like pull back. I know Jay's been doing the same, right?
yeah,
I just try to send you things that make you get mad at me, all the jump scares. Yeah, we don't want to look at the news. We just want to have a good laugh.
I do. At first I was like, oh, that guy. And now I'm just like, what pisses me off? Most things when I open them from you, I kind of get a vibe of what it's gonna be, and I watch it like this, like this. I listen to it first, and if there's anything that sounds like a jump scare or anything, I'm like, asshole.
Try to trigger that 10 energy.
No, I'd say my 10 energy triggers with Spomi summed it up. I was trying to explain it to my daughter last week. I'm like, I just feel like I want people to have this or that. And Spomi kept saying freedom, 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 freedom. Your path in this life is freedom.
Yes.
Freedom from having to be married and sold off like chattel to the highest bidder. You want other people to have freedom, freedom to choose, freedom who to marry. You want people to have freedom to have good health care. I can't stand any kind of oppression and judgment, any kind of like imprisonment and shackles one person tries to put on another, like the imposition on their free will in life. As long as you aren't hurting somebody, leave everybody alone. Let's just be kind and love and grow. And if I see any kind of oppression, man, I would say it pisses me off, but it's beyond that. Like I instantly see red, I'm in flames, like it pisses me off. And Spomi's like, that is the major theme in this lifetime for you is freedom. And like you said, the mask is coming off and I'm being more myself. But to this point, I've never had a long-term successful relationship because I chose the wrong people because I was masking and trying to be what they wanted me to be.
the conformity.
Yeah. And it just never worked out because I'd be like, I don't want this. I'm not happy here. And I'd leave. But that's because I was masking. But he's like, and you weren't supposed to be in that relationship because this lifetime was about you learning how to be free, how to make your own money. You've never gotten to do that in any other life, really. You had to be married to whoever your father chose. If you wanted to spend money, you had to ask your husband for it. You know, you need to be free to stand on your own 2 feet, blah, blah, blah.
Better than get them out of the way.
Only when they send me jump scares, Jay. Be careful.
I accuse her of killing me in Egypt. I'm just joking, but it's always a fun gag.
Yeah, I didn't, but whatever. So I can see how that's where it plays out in my life. It's whenever I see oppression. The second thing is like if someone's coming after someone I love, kids, a friend, someone that I consider one of mine, instant flames.
Yeah, that's written in there. Like in the books, it's written word for word. Like once you're family forever, and don't mess with the family, like ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a TikTok from a few years ago where a girl was like, my mom gets so defensive of me, like, quick, watch, I'm going to play her up. And she pretended to be on the phone and she's like, oh, girl, pull up, pull up. I'll be out there. You pull up. It's going to be me and you. And her mom's in the background. When who is that? Who is that? And she's going, pull up. We got you. And her mom's back there taking her earrings off. And she's like, who is that? Who is that? She's rolling her sleeves up, putting her hair up. She's like, oh, yeah, that's right. Pull up, bitch. She hangs up. She goes, my God, you get so fired up. That wasn't even anybody. She's like, oh, okay. Well, I was just going to have your back. Courtney had sent it to me. She goes, oh my God, if that is not my mom in a nutshell. But I will be the kindest, sweetest, most docile person until like you hit that button and then like I'm at 10. Yeah. Not proud of it. It just is what it is. But apparently I'm divinely created that way.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. So what else cool can you tell us about numerology, or what would you like people to know about numerology that don't really work with it that often?
What I love is that it's simple, right? Like, you know, a lot of us go on this hunt and we're like, we want all of this information. We want all of it right now. I love that it sums it up in such a very fascinating and detailed way, but it's not so overwhelming that you're swimming in it, right? Like if you were to break things down, like your ruling number and stuff like that, there is some people out there, and this isn't necessarily the way that I do things, but there's some people out there that'll give you a 40-page report. Well, we can't necessarily absorb all of that in one sitting, you know? So we can break it down and it's so simple. You just have a little bit of context around some of the stuff and it's like, oh yeah, yeah. And it really does help you move forward in life. And I also like that it works with the inner stuff, right? It is very predictive.
Yeah.
Numbers are predictive, they're pattern, they're, you know, that's the core of them. But
Well, all of everything is created on math. I mean, look
yeah,
at physics and, you know, quantum science and all of this. Like everything is math. Everything is numbers.
yeah, everything. So you can, I mean, you can see everything. I mean, if you want to add up your house number, mine is an 11. It's my favorite number.
Mine's an 8. I heard that
Yeah.
has to do with like success and money and stuff. Is that right?
It does. Yeah. And emotional mastery as well.
Hey, I'm working on it. Apparently, we're not there yet. I'm working on it. Jay, what does your house number add up to? Is it an 11?
Do we just straight add it together?
Yeah. Each number.
Yeah, 11.
11. Ah, that's a master healer number. I love that. So mine is an 11 too. And on the lower end of it, we're going to talk about that first. This is what I love about numerology is you get the pendulum swing, right? But it gives you the option of where do I really want to be and how do I experience this energy instead of just telling you like the predictive stuff, like you can make this inner shift, right? And work with what's going on around you. So the 11 is here to realize that it's supposed to create a ripple effect, right? It is such a healing and uplifting number on the high side, and on the low side, it feels like it's just so overpowered and so burdened by different things. Like that energy goes through and experiences such a tough energy on the lower end, but it's created to get you to see how big of an expansive shift you can make in the world, right? And so when you have this number, first of all, that house becomes kind of like you're going to experience a lot of things in it. You're going to grow a lot in the house. Like that house's energy is big. There's a lot of relationship things that can happen in your house where you can like trigger each other for growth though, right? It's all for making a bigger impact, and everything that you learn through these things in that house creates such a big effect for your kids, for your friends, for all of this. It's really like this big learning journey, but it can also be like the rock of the family, right? Like it's an anchor point. The 11 is an anchor point, and they call it the master healer number because of that. Everything gets drawn to it. So usually people that move into that energy house go through an awakening in that house. They go through a big one. Yeah. there's some sort of season in life that you're in that draws you to the house, or if it's like a generational thing, like a lot of people lived in the house. Well, you're the one that's waking up and living out that legacy. And so it can be just in your family and your ancestral stuff and your generational stuff, right? Or it can be like the person living there experiencing this energy. It's going to push you to be out there and creating such a big positive energy. Yeah, it's really great.
I think it tracks. Do you think it tracks?
It does track. Since coming here, I've always experienced stuff, but definitely there's been plenty of wacky things that are happening here, whether I can see it, hear it, experience it. Definitely shifts in relationships, intimate relationships, familiar relationships. So yeah, definitely a lot has happened since I've come to this residence.
Yeah.
So before we move, we should always contact you and see what our new address adds up to.
Yeah, I could tell you. Like my house being the 11-2, it's so funny because I moved here before I did any of this stuff. I had known that I had things, right? But I never really embraced it. I moved here, I uprooted my entire life for who I live with now, and we are in one of the most karmic relationships that you can have. He was my wake-up call. It was intense. And, after I started going down this journey, I started putting the dots together going, oh, and then I started seeing the growth points for both of us. And it truly is amazing to see, like, I stepped into the psychic medium thing. He has grown so much as well. We brought twins in, which is also the one in the one, right?
Very
It's
cool.
so amazing. Yeah. I can't get over it. I just love it.
Great. Now, one thing that I found useful when you had given me like a little mini reading on one of our other episodes, I was telling you how I felt stagnant and I felt like, is this ever going to happen? And you're like, well, from your cards, I can see like in 2025, you develop a little bit more of a team. And in my mind at the time, I was thinking like team, a big team. But I'm wondering if that meant like Jay and I team up, like we teamed, like I got a team. But you're like 2025 is about building, just building blocks. And then 2026 is where things really take off. And so for me, you mentioned earlier, like permission slips, like it gave me permission to just chill, to just calm down and just stay the course. It's not going to happen today, but it is happening. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep going. And things are going to continue growing. It's just not time yet. And I was also like, is there a man in there anywhere for me?
Same.
Yes. And you were like, oh, he's coming. But, not for a minute.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah. Like right now, when you were talking earlier about how, I'm kind of having a hard time with like people not sticking and stuff like that. That's literally the influence you switched into on the 4th.
Oh, so like just a few days ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not.
Tell me more about that.
It's not one of those. I mean, it can literally be like if you're on the really low end, people are going to scatter, right? But usually what this means is that you're moving people around in your life, or people are coming and people are going, so that way you're calling in who you need to. And I personally call the influence that you're in the networking card. That's, you really want to meet people, you want to get out there, you want to make these emotional connections. And it also gives you this stopping point where you can stop and assess and say, oh, I have a choice here. Do I want to continue? Do I not want to continue? Like it gives you options. And so you get to choose one. But
I
it
was
will.
just doing this the other day. I had decided to go on a dating app for like the first time in forever. Literally the first day, someone goes, you look like that lady I followed on YouTube. Is that you? Oh my God, if we ever meet, I'm going to have so many questions about the pendulum and stuff. And I immediately went, I have a choice. Do I want to do this? I don't want to do this. And I like shut it down.
Yeah.
So is that what you're talking about? Like I have choices here. which
Yeah.
direction do I want to go? I have
Right.
options.
Yeah. And you're going to have people come in to show you which direction you want to go to, just like that. Literally, that is like one of the experiences. And, a lot, we dig into our charts and we're like, oh, this could be like this really big event. But it goes so deep as to those small little tiny events that happen that we don't even realize as part of that influence. And it makes those little tiny, tiny shifts that turn into bigger ones, bigger ones, bigger ones. And it leads us where we need to be. You just gotta be aware, right? And follow it. And we all live this every single day. We just have no idea.
Yeah. I had asked Spomi, I'm like, and I've asked this 1,000 times. I never get a different answer, but I'm just like, you can't tell me nothing. I can do what I want. And, I'm like, am I going to meet my person on a dating app? And he's like, no.
Right.
And I'm like, are you sure? Yes. Do you see me being with anyone in like the next 3 to 6 months? No.
Yeah.
But are they coming? Am I going to die alone? No. So they're coming. Yes. But not for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, I can do what I want. Maybe they are on a dating app and I go on there and then I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. If I do this, I can force the issue and end up with someone who doesn't fit.
Yep.
But that's not really what I'm looking for. So like, we're just going to set it down. Yeah.
And that's your outcome this year, though, is mastering inner value. You're addressing like on the physical level, like your money story, right? But this inner value.
LOL. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we mastered that yet, but like, yeah, we're working on it. I'm glad to see we've shifted into that energy.
Right? Yeah. This is like, when you're talking about the building blocks, it's a legacy year. Legacy years are always about that slow and steady. And what are you manifesting, right? What are you manifesting into your life? And like, I know you can do that at any point, but this year is really one of those years for you where it's important to take your time and make sure that it is in alignment with this internal value. So you do a lot of inner work, which this year definitely is making you sit and do that. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Now, this shift on the 4th, like how did you say that shifted, or tell me again, because it's already gone. I want to make sure it sticks. What did that shift look like on the 4th?
It was.
And second part to that question, did everybody have this shift? Was this a shift or was this just my chart?
Just yours.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, just you.
Sorry.
It's what I call the networking card.
Networking, that was it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. On the low end, we'll put the low end in there too, because I like people to see both sides, right?
Now, low end, does that mean shadow end or like, okay, got it.
Yeah, your shadow end. Like this can be the uncomfortable part if you're not doing the work, right? The universe is going to say, we got you.
What does that look like?
That is, they call it the divorce card. It is people literally triggering the crap out of you and leaving, right? Yeah. So, I mean, that can happen either way, but it's a matter of perspective for one.
Mm-hmm.
If you're calling the shots or you're leaving it up to everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I would say I'm not in the shadow end of it. I would say that I'm probably in the higher end, but good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you had mentioned earlier when I gave you Jay's birthday, you were like, oh my gosh, everything lines up. Everything is aligned and entangled. What did that mean? What does that look like?
Okay. So in my numerology stuff in the charts, Jay is actually my moon. And so
I didn't want to say anything.
Like, I thought you looked familiar.
Yeah. You have all the qualities that I, like, if I didn't know, would want to wake up to, right? Like, you're the type of person that I would meet in regular day-to-day life and probably be jealous and be like, why can't I do that? Yeah. So I was like, oh, because those are really important relationships that you have in your life. And they're not, not everyone is like a long-term thing, but they come in and they trigger something in you, right? And so your card is your club. So it's all mental. again, you have another layer of this mental stuff happening, right? Like it's just woo! Lots of things happening up here. But it's learning how to speak your truth every single time, right? I have to speak from the heart. I have to speak what I know is true. I can't make myself small just to fit into somebody else's box. Yeah.
From an outside perspective, I can see how that's so true.
Hey, worry about your finances. Leave me alone. I'm teasing.
Yeah.
But it resonates.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're the number, like that part of your soul contract. So this is the deeper part where we do the inner work. Like this is the path you signed up for, the cookie you grabbed out of Alice in Wonderland's jar before you came here. This is like for you with the truth and stuff like that. It's also very much a partnership card, but because you're a person that wants to draw on community, there's a lot of business stuff that comes in behind this too. The clubs are always like, a lot of them are money driven. There's, I want to make a business, like I want to connect with the people, finding a lot of joy in that connection with people as well. You know, when you have those good, healthy relationships, like that's what you want. You got to have conversation, like flowing conversation, right? Not just how's the weather today. I don't know. Me personally, I can't do it. I have a hard time. But it's how does your mind really connect with other people? What are you thinking about? Like, how do you view others that are around you? And so you have this double whammy of the 2 and the 3 playing a part in your life. And like I said, both of them need to learn how to step into their emotions, right? And figure them out. Yeah. So I'm just thinking, I'm thinking through your lifetime chart because yours overlaps mine. Our entire chart is do 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 do. So like,
Me feeling all left out over here. Like,
well, there's another part to this that's
I just tease them.
really- so your relationships, for instance, you have a special influence that is there. You're learning how to step into mastery of value with these people. You're a trigger. So you trigger other people to see their value, and they also trigger that in you because it's called the Jack of Diamonds that you have sitting in that spot. So there's commitment stuff, right? But also being very young at heart at the same time and a jokester and, you know, all of that stuff. Yeah.
I'm serious.
I would say whenever I have seen somebody carry this influence, like there can be a very dry sense of humor at times. And just little remarks here and there, like I always have something to throw in that's funny, right? Like that's just
Well, I've been behaving this whole podcast. You have no idea.
I can tell you, I could see you.
We can already see.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of wit, there's a lot of charm, there's a lot of things that come in with your life path. And I mean, we could sit here, I could talk to you for hours about it and tell you every little thing about you, but we'll keep it at that, I think, for now, because the other layer is we all have this spot where it's the most important relationship of your life. Some people meet these people, some people don't, right? I am
That's
both of yours.
sad.
I'm both of
I
yours.
have met mine.
Well, this is, I mean, obviously, if you're like in a relationship and this person is it's gonna trigger a lot of things, right? You know, in the spiritual world, we say receiving our blessings. Receiving our blessings doesn't always mean that it's just raining down the wonderfulness, right? The universe bestows blessings on you to get you to move forward too. It's kind of the kick in the pants to get you
Mhm.
to move, right? So you both have the King of Clubs sitting there, which is relationships that talk a lot about mastering the mind, self-leadership, all of those different things that comes into it. And so when I was looking at them, I was like, you guys both have the same card and I'm it. And I was like, this is really cool. So
Kayla, you are the love of our lives.
but I just thought it was so neat how we're all sitting here together in such, that's why I was saying, like, we've definitely been together before. I didn't look into the past life stuff that much, but yeah, like having this sit there, even in the smallest of moments, when we call these people in, and I learned from it too, you know, we call these people in, and we have this big circle of webs that we're weaving. Even these just sitting here means something huge.
Mm-hmm.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when do you see Jay meeting his person, or like
I showed you my person.
Well, that's up to him.
your person? You'll probably know. Oh, okay. I thought you were going to talk about Haley Williams.
No, I was talking about my Dr. Pepper.
Oh, okay. Your person would be Haley Williams drinking a Dr. Pepper.
Oh, I couldn't stand that. That would destroy me. Heart out.
You're like, I'm not strong enough. I'm not strong enough.
I always tell people about their person that it's up to you. It's up to you to do the work to call that person in. Just like we were talking about the mask, there is an opportunity at any given point to call in your person, whether the cards show it or not, because the person that comes in is probably one of the contracts that you have in your chart, right?
No doubt. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, look at me. Mine's moon. So, like, they come in at the right timing. And it's all a matter of what you both choose to do with it. So, there's 2 timelines there for each of you, and where on your journeys you're at, and there's an opportunity for a relationship. You don't have like, I mean, I know we just talked about the most important relationship, but I said that a lot of times, we don't necessarily meet them or end up dating them long term, getting married.
Right. I mean, they don't even have to be romantic, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
they can be an important relationship in your life, but that doesn't mean romantic.
Right. Yeah. And I think a lot of people get lost in that part.
Mhm.
And I think that gives the power away. So, if you go to somebody and they're like, there is meaning behind it when somebody says, hey, like, this is your ideal partner. I think a lot of times we get so focused on that we actually miss opportunities with other people.
Right. Which is why, when I teach a lot on pendulum use and things like that, and I always get a lot of questions about this, and I'm like, sounds like a trickster to me, because your guide will not tell you that. And they're like, no, 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 no. They said who I'm going to meet and when. And I'm like, not true, not your guide. They won't give that to you, because that violates your free will. That narrows your focus. Now you're out there looking for like some guy named Jerry who drives a red car and that you're going to meet at 3:25 p.m. on this day. Like, narrows your view, and now you're not looking for anyone else. You're not open to it.
Right.
And we all have choices. We all have choices. Even if you're looking at the person who's supposed to be your person or could potentially be your person, you can talk yourself out of it and be like, no, I'm not gonna go that direction. And that's your free will, and that's okay. But at any point in time, like you said, there's different timelines, and you can choose what you want.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, I mean, like, if you're really like, I want to meet my person, I need to meet them now. Well, we can go in and I can say, hey, this is what's happening this year, and this is what you need to correct within yourself and make the inner shifts to draw that person in, because it's a feedback loop. So we have the outer world that helps us shift the inner world, and then the inner world manifests on the outer world. So we have a feedback loop. It's a constant loop all the time. But the core of it is what's going on inside here. Everything's got to start with the inner shift. So a lot of people have a really hard time sitting with themselves and actually seeing the patterns. But that's where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
Really is. And if you don't know where your pattern is, my biggest thing is sit in the quiet for a while and see what comes up. That's when it's going to show up for you.
Yeah. Recently, I was doing something, and I don't remember what it was. Maybe looking out the window at my flowers, something benign, but something that like brings me joy. And I just remember thinking, listen to how peaceful and quiet my house is right now. Like, there's no football playing on the TV, and there's no one going, what are you going to make for dinner? It's just, I get to be in my space, And I remember having this very conscious, lucid thought of, I like this version of myself because I'm only this version of myself by myself. And I tend to change too much. I tend to give up too much of myself when I get into relationships because I'm a natural caretaker. I'm a natural nurturer. And like, I'm always like, what do you need? What do you want? How can I serve you? What can we do? What are you hungry for? And internally, I start resenting when it's just like give, and nobody's giving back. And somewhere I've developed this limiting belief that like, oh, relationship equals all give and no take. And that's not true. That's just what I've settled for before, but that's my pattern. And so I have to learn how to consciously choose someone who's also a bit of a giver, where we meet in the middle. And anyways, it's just patterns.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what the numbers are. It's patterns, and we all have them. But like that sitting in the quiet, that's like the trigger for your guides to come in and drop this thought into your head because you're clear in that
Yeah.
moment. You don't have a bunch of other stuff happening, and they're like, hey, you need to work on this right now. And that's why people get anxiety when they're by themselves, right? Like there's a lot of things that come up when you're alone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I thrive in that solitude, but it is a choice whether you see it as solitude
Yeah.
or loneliness.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And that's, when you were talking about, sitting by yourself and liking that version of yourself and stuff like that, my guys were just lighting me up. I could feel all the energy, and they're like, yes, yes, yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts, Jay? What do you see as some of your patterns?
When you were talking, one of my patterns erupted because you were talking about giving and nothing. So you'll be getting something tomorrow. Yeah, there it is. See, it's not all giving. You get back sometimes.
I do get back sometimes. You're a pumpkin. Thank you. Talking about most important relationships, I think Jay has been one of my most important relationships, and so I firmly stand on that. And like, it doesn't always have to be romantic. But Jay has been one of the very few people who allows me to unmask, and I can be as angry as I want. I can be as stupid as I want. I can be as funny as I want. I can just send him I can just be myself, whatever that looks like in that moment, and he can too. But there have been very few people in my life who I've had that experience with. I think that he has allowed me to heal and allowed me to come out of my shell a lot and trust that I won't be too much. So, anyways, thanks, Boo.
Making me blush over here. Almost can't stand it.
That's what I was talking about, though. Like that Jack of Diamonds that's sitting in your relationship spot in your lifetime chart. Exactly what Veronica was talking about is like that showing of, hey, you're worth it. Hey, you can be yourself, right? That's that mirror and that trigger. It's so amazing. And that nurturing, it's all there in the numbers. It's so cool.
So cool.
Those shirts, I like wearing them in public. You are enough.
Now, how hard is it to look into the past life stuff? What can you tell us about past lives through numerology?
So,
Be able to prove you killed me.
I mean, if we look, depending on certain things, we can kind of get a gist of what may have happened. I mean, there's some stuff.
I know that we lived in Egypt. I know we lived in Pompeii. I know we lived in London. I know of at least 3, but I'm assuming there are like many more.
Yeah. Yeah. Just the intuitive part of me says, yeah. And what I am feeling is like in this lifetime, this is a very without even looking at the charts, a very deeply healing relationship that is helping close a lot of those previous contracts that you guys have had that you probably didn't get to finish out in exactly the greatest of manners.
Maybe.
Yeah. But with the Astro Egyptian Numerology or soul contracts, we all come in with a past life. This is the lifetime that is most pertinent to the one we are living now.
Mhm.
And so we're not going to see all of them.
Right.
We're going to see the energy of the one that you needed to bring in and what loop you are closing, because what happens is we tend to fall into the familiar and start living that lifetime instead of the one we're in now. And so when somebody's really struggling and you just can't figure it out, I go into the past life and be like, oh, there it is. Yeah, that's because you already have done this and this is what's really familiar, and so you're closing that contract now. You just have to shift over into this, right?
Yeah.
So even like fears, a lot of us have little fears or bigger fears that we have no idea where they came from. Well, we're
I
gonna
have
have
this huge phobia of whales. I have my whole life. And I always joke that I was Jonah in a last lifetime, another lifetime. I'm joking, of course, but I'm like, where does this whale phobia come from? When I was little, I had recurring nightmares of being up somewhere really high. I fall into this deep, dark ocean water, and this big, like Moby Dick whale is swimming right in front of my face. And if you can die from fear, I would have. Like, I was terrified isn't strong enough of a word. I was so afraid. And then I wake up. But it would happen over and over and over and over.
I'm looking to see in your past life. So in your past life, like in this year, actually, you have one of the death cards, which is really interesting. Like, and you're actually in the influence right now in your past life. This is going to make a lot of sense. It's your actual contract in this past life. This year, you're in it.
Oh.
So clearing that, but also you have the 9 of Hearts sitting there. That is the ending of a lot of relationships and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Interesting. Yeah, a lot of things that I was holding on to that I'm just like, this isn't what I want. This is not where I'm going. Like, it's just time to let go. And with that being said, I think that that can also look like a lot of relationship stuff that I was holding on to with people, for example, my children, where there were resentments, there's mistrust, there's things. And I'm like, look, I have two options. I can either hang on to that and we can go our separate ways, or I can forgive and show grace and allow myself to let it go and move forward with love. So sometimes the ending of a relationship doesn't have to, it can be an ending of that version of that relationship too. But that's all just happened in the last few months too.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, this is something that you came into this lifetime specifically to close in the self-responsibility spot, right? There's, the planetary influences we have in this. There's 7 of them, and it's a constant loop. This is our divine timing cycle. And in this past lifetime, this definitely would have been a place where, interestingly enough, what I was just hearing was just what you guys are talking about, where something with health happened within a relationship, because you're the 7 of spades. It's a health card, right? It's learning how to have faith. And so I would say somebody probably in this past life probably passed in this spot, which is really, I mean,
Well, they
yeah.
passed. I don't know about us in that spot, but
Yeah. I mean, those influences show up, that's the bigger, deeper part. They show up all year, but they're more prominent in certain spots, right? And so that's how we like expand on all of this guidance. But interesting. I find that really interesting that we're having this conversation. And I looked and there it is, hey, there was some things that ended, but also, I mean, if you're looking at just an emotional perspective of it and just how to make the shift within yourself to close that contract, it really is letting go of the emotional garbage no longer serves you.
right. Yeah. That's exactly almost the whole conversation I had with myself, is that because Spomi kept telling me, like, the contract is done. That contract's over. It's your choice to hang on to this.
Absolutely.
And this isn't with just one of my children that I was talking about. It was with like the whole thing, my ex-husband and like all of that. The contract's done. You're just choosing to let it linger. And so I very consciously this year spent a lot of time with, and you brought this up. So, I mean, I just think it's ironic, or in tune rather, but I've spent a lot of time healing those things and letting them go. The universe abhors a vacuum. Like if you have a closet full of clothes, you might not get a whole lot of new stuff. Like clean out the old stuff, declutter, and then like blessings will flow to you. Same with relationships and emotional traumas and baggage you're holding on to. Like heal it and get rid of it. And then you're going to resonate with the blessings that can flow in more. Yeah. So people have so many good things that they can learn about themselves through numerology and past lives. We've never talked about the past life stuff. I'm fascinated with that.
Yeah, I was just looking into Jay's, and we've been talking about the Jack of Diamonds with him this whole time. That was your past life too. And it's sitting in your relationship spot in this lifetime. So we're closing that loop this time around. And actually, Veronica, you are who he was learning to become in this year in the past life.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So I get stabby then. This is gonna be awesome.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So in a past life, he was learning the lesson I'm learning now. Is that what you're saying?
He was learning how to, like, you're closing that loop on how to embody the 7 of spades, your soul contract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because that's like in that year, that's that energy is who he was working towards becoming and closing that. And that's exactly why, we show up in other people's charts when we do, because we're closing that loop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, like I said, all relationships have the opportunity, whether it be a friendship, whatever, to last forever, right? It all depends on where you're at in your story.
Right.
But all of them are a reflection of your soul, a mirroring of your soul and what you need to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, sometimes even when you don't want it to, like if they don't resonate with where you are and where you're going, like they just kind of float away. They have their own things to work on.
Yeah.
The great falling away, right, Jay?
So, like, if you want to see who's coming into your life at a given time, or you're having troubles with a relationship, or you're trying to look at your kids and learn your kids, right? Because, whoo, sometimes they're
Girl.
yeah, like they can push some buttons. That's why I love doing a lot of this, is because, okay, well, yeah, you guys were together in just this recent past life. Like, we need to let's talk about this and some of the stuff that's going on here.
In this last lifetime, Jay was my second husband, and he ended up cheating on me, and he died shortly either in or after World War II. I can't remember.
Oh my God.
Shortcut.
That tracks. That literally tracks with what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
With the health and like the passing where you were in your past life, and and the relationships in this life, and you being his outcome in this past life, like, and learning how to have faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those moments of being in the war, you are learning how to have a whole lot of faith. I mean, it's a spiritual calling. It's a spiritual, like, you are being lifted into a place that not many people go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because
Really, I didn't learn because I did it again.
Yeah, you had to close the loop on that too. Have a different outcome where you didn't die.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't die from war in the last one or in this one. So I just got to make sure no one cuts my brakes. That's, I'm assuming, how I went. Bastard.
Yeah, the thing, it's easy for me to connect with these past lives because I have such very clear dreams of them, like Technicolor, I'm living it dreams. And he hasn't had a whole lot of them. He kind of goes on intuition and what I tell him.
I've had the Egypt dreams. They were it was just me coming past almost like on a conveyor, and I could see a woman sitting there in the garb, the headdress, and you could tell you're in Egypt, but I couldn't really understand it. But you could tell you're in that time frame.
What did the lady look like that had the headdress? Like, what kind of hair did she have?
Oh, the headdress kind of covered it. I couldn't really see the hair per se.
Because I got to see her a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and she had like a short bob, like you see in the hieroglyphs. She was, it's so different to see a painting or a picture or a drawing versus someone animated in real life. And like I was her, I was watching the building and construction of these monuments or things that she was directing the building of. But then for a moment, I was outside of the body and I was watching her. And she was so excited, like she was so proud and she was giddy. She was like, oh, that's oh God, you know, and she was so excited, but she was wearing like a white, almost like a toga looking thing, like a white dress. She had on the headgear with like the snake, but she
Was
had
her a person of
black.
power,
What's that?
a person of wealth and kind of like power. And
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what I was-
And we had been married, but he died, and then I took over. And she had like a short black bob and very animated and excited that these things, so proud of like, look what I did. So, anyways, when you said you saw her with the head garb and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if we saw the same person.
Did you guys notice that you started having these dreams more so when you started talking? Or did you like
Oh.
ever have dreams before?
I had one dream a few years ago before we met, I think.
You said,
What?
is this the Spell Me story?
I don't think so. No. I had one dream this is of Egypt. I had a dream a handful of years ago, where all I saw was that I was like in a group or a line of people. The corridors were skinny, so it was kind of like a line, but there was a big group of us walking through these stone corridors, almost like what you would see like passages inside of a pyramid or something. We were all wearing black, and I could see on my head, I could see the bottom of like a little snake thing coming off of my forehead. I could see I was wearing that. And I remember turning the corner into this larger chamber, and on a platform was sitting a coffin or a sarcophagus or something. And everybody was wailing and moaning and like grief stricken because someone had died, and we were going to the funeral. But that's all I remember, walking through this corridor with all these people wearing black. I could see the snake. We turned into this bigger chamber, saw the casket or whatever it was laying there, and I could remember the grief of everyone, the grief sounds. And then I woke up. That was the first one I had where I was like, ooh, that was Egypt for sure.
Yeah.
And I was wearing one of those snake thingies. Does that mean that I was in charge? What does that mean? And at the time, I had assumed I was a man because men were in charge, right? And then I learned about this other lifetime. Then someone in my membership who has psychic medium gifts did like a collective reading for the group and what she had seen and like lifetimes we may have had together. And she, without knowing any of this, had said, this is the lifetime I see. And I see Veronica was this person and he was that person. And I'm like, that's exactly what I got in the other dreams that I had had. And then since then, I've had a few other dreams on top of it.
Did anybody ever like talk to you about the sisterhood things that were back then? Like-
No, I didn't know anything about anything.
That was like what I was thinking when you were talking about being like kind of a powerful woman and stuff like that. Like that's
What was her name? Was it Hatshepsut, Jay?
Something like that.
Let me Google. Ancient Egypt, 1458 BC. She was the 6th pharaoh of Egypt's 18th dynasty, born the eldest daughter of Pharaoh Thutmose I, became queen regent. He was my husband, but he was kind of sickly.
Mhm.
And he died, and I just kept reigning. And I built all kinds of monuments and temples, and like I created all kinds of stuff and tried to make the land really good and prosperous and happy.
I got the chills.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you get anything about that at all, but that about sums up everything I know about it.
Yeah, I get chills. That's like, yeah, you're right on. Whenever I get that, whew,
Yeah, I think it's awesome. But I've been drawn to different things and different books, different authors that write about this kind of stuff. I never knew why, but now I think I do.
Yeah. I've always been obsessed with Egypt.
I never was,
Little girl.
but
I was, yeah. Mhm.
until I started having the dreams about it. And now I'm a little bit more curious. But yeah. Do you have any questions for Kayla? Anything else you'd like to
Oh,
learn?
many. We probably don't have time for all that. I may have to talk separately, but yeah, the whole Egyptian aspect of it. Is there a difference with that than just what we would consider standard numerology?
Yeah, yes. So standard numerology is just like your ruling number or life path number. A lot of people call it their life path number. Like I said, that's a lot of like your personality, your workings, right? And like I said before, the Egyptian Astro Numerology, it builds upon that, but it's actually your card deck. That is the book of life. A deck of playing cards is the book of life. And that is all of the contracts that we have. And so we use those contracts in a really specific way called the divine timing cycle. And so that is how we see like what your challenge is for the year, what your theme is for the entire year. It's such an expansive system. It took me over a year to learn it. Just learn it, just like the top.
Yeah.
It's so big. And, the basics of numerology is expansive too. There's a lot to learn, but a lot of it is very, like this is what it is and this is
Mhm.
what it is. And the other part of it lights up your intuition and your gifts like no other. And it's like the learning aspect of the numbers is never ending. And I think that's why I love it because I never get bored. I'm bored now. I need to learn something new. Yeah. So that's the difference. Mhm.
Yeah, it seems so complex and nuanced. So for each of us, what do you see the theme of our 2026 being? Do we have a theme for each of us?
We do. Let me look.
Or
So
just
2026 for Jay.
She's like, let me consult the card.
Yeah, I am looking and hold on. Oh, you got a big one coming.
That's what she said.
not around me.
Actually, you're gonna be 45. And so this is one of the biggest, can be one of the biggest shifts in our lives. This is kind of where we start having like a midlife crisis. That's what they call it. But it doesn't have to be that way if you're aware. But this is where you begin reliving your life. So we live, and then when we turn 45, our charts start over. So we can live it again and choose the higher timeline. And so this upcoming year, that is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be living your entire life chart in a year. Yeah.
Wow.
And so a lot of things that'll happen may seem familiar just because you've already done it. We get an opportunity when these come up where it's choice, timelines. Am I going to decide that I have more to live for, or am I going to just decide to be on the lower side and just continuously live the same loop over and over and over again? This is where that happens. And so this is where we see like the big stuff. And this is where like success can really start because this is where you step into the wisdom and the knowledge. And a lot of times when people are squeaking up on this year, they have like the crisis where it's like, what am I here doing?
Mhm.
Am I here?
Do I want to keep doing the same old Groundhog's Day
Yes.
thing? Same old relationships, same old routines, same old frustrating dynamics, or fresh start, moving on, moving up, bigger, better. How exciting.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that?
He looks so excited.
Resonates. I mean, this is definitely something that's been rattling around for a little bit now. Patterns, the same stuff happening. What am I doing? What do I need to do? It also, with the decisions, it ties into other things I've heard independently or from other readings. How does that all play in? Because, I've heard, random stuff. We both did Jamie Butler reading, and she gave me some things that would happen at some point, and then on my own, just meditating or whatnot. I've heard weird things like mention of Northern California. I don't know if you've heard me tell this story. I call it the narrator. I've only encountered this voice maybe 3 times now. But usually I'm just now waking up and I can see a book, the pages are turning and the person's just going on and on and on. One of the times I became aware enough to pause and like, hello? And the voice stopped. And immediately the voice goes, I don't know who they're talking to, but the voice is like, he's not supposed to notice this until Northern California. And then, I get a lot of communication through physical taps. I also hear the voices, I see stuff, but my whole body's like something just tapping all over me, like, ha, you heard it, you heard it. So, when I hear this transitions or, there's choices, I immediately think, is this where it's leading? Is, the things I've heard and I've felt, is this, where the path finally starts to diverge? Yeah, so that it resonates. It speaks to those thoughts that have been trapped in there.
Yeah, but like all of those things that you're just talking about, this is a spiritual awakening year. Other than it being like the 45th year, you also have the underlying current of massive spiritual awakening this year too. Like this is going to be the one that cracks you wide open. So you have double layers that are happening. And really that's what your lifetime is about. It is the theme. And it's the Ace of Spades. They call it the Magi, the Order of the Magi card. It is the secret desires card is the other thing that they call it. And when we say secret desires, we're talking about the things with the truth that we bury so deep in ourselves and we look outside for external validation, right? And when we do that, the world kind of starts lashing back at you if you're not being honest in here first, right? And so that's where that comes in. But for me personally, because we all put our own like kind of meanings to these cards too, this is like downloads like crazy that are happening. You're going to start probably, and it's probably like recently, having more of that, trusting in it more, being able to channel a heck of a lot more, having gifts, waking up a lot more, and being able to really like step into them and being able to follow them on a much bigger scale. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the trust is the hardest thing for me because, what I do get, a lot of times I second guess. Like, I'll hear the words or I'll see the images or I'll get the feeling and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah. So I think you'll be able to.
Good stuff coming.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like you're aware, you've been, kind of aware of this. So it is really an amazing time to embrace everything that is going on. And remember, we were talking about blessings before, like whatever happens, to take a moment instead of just reacting to it, saying, wait, what's on the other end of this? Where could this be leading me? Right. And that's where we start following the breadcrumbs of like life and letting it guide us and receiving those blessings and really open up. It's a really beautiful thing, especially where you are sitting right now. Like this is a second chance of building on top of what you've already built, an expansion on that. Either way, right? Either way. But really, if you're aware, we all tend to make such an even more incredible life for ourselves. Stuff starts changing. Yeah. It's amazing.
Cool.
Yeah. So let's look at, let me switch gears into yours, Veronica. So 2026. Ooh, this is one of your, I'm calling it my people's year.
Okay.
What does it look like? Oh, I remember looking at this now. And if you follow your chart, it's a very inner focused year. And it's bringing you that frequency of fame, essentially.
I don't want the fame. I just want the money. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that comes with it. But this is I am stepping out of, I'm too little, or I'm not enough, or I'm too much, or any of those things, and stepping into your powerful voice. Like this is the breakthrough. And that underlying current for you is really going to be like your emotional story, your ability to choose. Like this is the emotional freedom year. Like
Yeah.
I want freedom. I want to connect. I want to talk to people. Like I want to be both.
That's really what it is. I was joking about the wanting the money thing, but it's more of I don't want fame, but I do want far reach.
Right.
So that I can I mean, if you want to call that fame, I'm not out here like, I'm going to be famous. No, that's not it at all. It's I want far reach so that I can help everybody. I want to write books and make cards and like have my videos go everywhere. I want to have retreats. I want to get the word out.
Yeah.
So I guess
And
that
that's
would
why
be
they call it that, the frequency of fame, is
Yeah.
because you expand this reach because you find your power in your voice, in the way that you communicate, right? All of that starts really becoming online, like coming online. And the beautiful thing about that is you're learning to trust yourself, which is your ruling number. It is expanding on that, is really learning that inner trust. Yeah.
And I was just going to say, I can see how that's a process too, how that would be a very internal thing because like behind the scenes, he sees it all the time. I'll text him and be like, I'm so nervous for this. What am I going to talk about? What if I don't know what to say? What if I'm so awkward and look stupid? And he's like, you're going to be fine. We'll figure it out together. But I still like
Mhm.
have to figure out how to tap into that confidence, solar plexus stuff and trust myself that I know what to do, that it will come naturally, that it will channel through, that like, girl, you know what you're doing. You know what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Just go do it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's what's coming this upcoming year for you, which is like spreading that message. It is writing, it is the speaking, it is that creativity. It's a very mental shift that you're moving into.
So no
So
retirement to an island. You're not seeing that. Like,
not next year, no. It's gonna be more of a, like, this year was a lot of sitting with the inner stuff so that way it could play out in the external world, right? Like you're receiving that back, that validation, stuff like that, like, hey, I'm worth it.
yeah.
And so it's giving you confidence. And so that's gonna help you build on this next year, which is very internal, very like sitting with, it's a spiritual year too. You have a lot of spiritual cards that are in there. And so that's going to help you activate this more and give you those ideas and the things to talk about, all of that. So it's not going to be so much of a, I am out there running the marathons and
Right.
hustling and doing all that. It's very much, it's going to be another one of those things where it's going to
I'm
be,
here doing the work.
yes.
Yeah. I get that. I feel that.
Yeah.
Now, I know that there are several ways to get into contact with you and that you offer readings. You have a Facebook group, I believe. Am I right about that? Yeah. Tell everybody how they can get in contact with you so that they can come get an awesome reading from you, that they can find out how this affects their lives or get their information. How can they get a hold of you?
So I am a millennial. I call myself the Zennial. But I am mainly on Facebook. I do have a private group on there. It's Embody You Energetics. That is the name of my business. And I do have my website as well.
Put all of the information in the description box and in the show notes if you want to look for it.
You can email me too, which is just Kayla Eickmeyer, don't laugh, at Hotmail. I had somebody look at me and they're like, you still use
That's all
Hotmail?
right.
I still have a
Veronica still
Hotmail.
has her AOL. No, you still got AOL.
I wonder if my AOL still works. Like I haven't used it in years. I forgot I even had it, but I wonder if it's still a thing and if it's active or not. I don't know.
Yeah. So
Funny.
it's there. I'm here.
Yeah, they can find you. You guys, if you have any interest in this, certainly go find her, get your own reading, dig into this information. You saw how just the little snippets that she gave us during this 1 hour or so, how much information was packed into there. And she didn't even go into like the whole chart. We just talked about little snippets of things. So go get your reading, go get your information, and learn more about yourself. See how you were created, what your life path will show you, what can be said to you that makes you feel better about yourself, or that lights a fire under you to like get going because you got plans. So go find out. You won't regret it. And do you guys have anything to add before we go?
I'm convinced. I'm signing up immediately.
All right, you guys. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.